Hello everyone. Today we're taking a look at the data crime DOS virus. This virus surfaced in March of 1989 and quickly became a source of panic for many personal computer owners, partly fueled by media reports like this one.
Well, it is Friday the 13th, and for the superstitious, that's a bad luck day. For computer owners this time around, it was an ominous day. This is the day that computer virus was supposed to attack. Joe McMahon has more on that story.
It's called Data Crime 2, and it's a virus that has owners of IBM personal computers worried it might send their PCs to sickbeds. An electronic virus is information or instructions added on to a legitimate computer software program by hackers. Most commonly, the virus will wipe out instructions or information stored on that computer disk. We're told spreading the virus is easy. It happens when people share their computer programs, oftentimes over telephone lines.
Sounds pretty scary, doesn't it? I know I wouldn't want my computer to be corrupted by some mysterious virus that some guy is just typing this and then he's hitting F3 and enter. Did you notice that in the news report? Because that's my favorite part. So that is about it for the data crime DOS virus, right? All we have to do is type the name in an invalid format for DOS and hit enter a bunch of times and we're good. Well, at least it qualifies for good footage for the news. But how about we get to the real virus? Real quick, before we demonstrate it, we must always look at graphics.com. Its uninfected file length is 19,742 bytes, and when data crime infects it, it will grow and we will see this file size increase because data crime will infect graphics and insert its code into the file itself. So let's go ahead and run it. And we don't see anything happen. And this virus is not a memory resident virus, and what that means is when you run it, it does not insert itself into memory to then intercept whatever other programs you may run. This one is called a direct action infector, which means that every time you run an infected file, it finds one more uninfected file and infects it. So this virus only spreads one file at a time when you run an infected file. And I don't think that first one was enough to get graphics.com infected. Nope. So we're going to run data crime properly a few times in a row. We're not just typing data crime 2 and hitting enter a whole bunch. Fear mongering for the media. Alright, so that should have infected quite a few files in this directory. And the way data crime looks for files is first hits drive C, then drive D, and then A and B, your two floppy drives. But in this case, we're just going to stick to the DOS directory. Have we been infected yet? We sure have. We can see that graphics.com is now 20,910 bytes because data crime has infected it. And what was so scary about data crime that it had computer owners freaking out? Well, starting on October 13th, 1989 and later, which that year happened to be Friday the 13th, of course, data crime formats the first 9 tracks of your hard disk, which would overwrite the boot sector, the first file allocation table, and most of the second, pretty much causing all of your files to be inaccessible and pretty costly to recover without specialized tools. So we're going to change the date to October 13th, 1989. You can see here it is indeed Friday the 13th, which is always spooky and makes for good news stories. And we're going to run graphics, which we know is infected. So we see data crime virus released 1 March 1989 and a relentless series of beeps from the PC speaker. So it sounds to me like our system is probably trashed, but let's go ahead and restart and see for real. Enjoy the seek test. Looks to me like we got our data back just fine. As it turns out, all this hype and fear and panic over data crime was unfounded because there's a bug in the format routine. Data crime fails to format your drive and instead just kind of scares you with the message and beeping, and when you restart, everything is fine. But I've got something for you. I've copied over Data Crime 2. You might recall the news report mentioning Datacrime 2 being the virus to be afraid of. Well, this is a new and improved version of Datacrime that fixes that bug. Alright, it's time to look at the death portion of Halloween. And to accomplish that, we're looking at a virus that's literally called death. So before we take a look at it, take a look at the file itself. You can see it's a 2001 byte file. And if we take a look at our old favorites, graphics.com, the original file size is 19,742. And sys.com, the original size is 9,432. We'll go ahead and run the virus. Run it one more time, and each time we run it, it's actually infecting a .com file in this directory. Eventually it'll hit graphics or sys. There we go, sys has been infected, and now when we run sys, this program will also infect other programs. So this by itself is not that interesting. However, what is interesting is the way